What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the Week 2 NFL schedule. And holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, I did not predict Week 1 very well. I was actually at the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cleveland Browns football game in Arrowhead. It was absolutely an amazing experience. I've been to many Chiefs games, and this was easily number one in my opinion. The crowd returning for the first time, just the game in general, just how everything swayed. It was easily in the Cleveland Browns' hands. And then as the game progressed, it started to transition back to the Chiefs, and it was just incredible to see them pull it out. But I did actually, it looks like I went 7-9, I believe, is what I accumulated. I tried to predict some upsets. I did a little bit of that this week, as you guys are going to see when we go through this. But really, honestly, some great football games. There really was some upsets. A game that I did not envision happening was the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was kind of a possibility that could happen, but I just didn't envision that happening in Week 1. We'll kind of quickly run through. Dallas at Tampa. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you guys, and then we'll dive into Week 2. So my face will disappear. I'll just keep it like this for right now. That way we can kind of go through it. So obviously Tampa Bay did beat the Dallas Cowboys. That was an incredible opening night game. Dallas came out and definitely had a game. Dak Prescott threw for 403 yards. Ezekiel Elliott only 33 yards. Amari Cooper had 139 receiving yards. It was an incredible showing by those two, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper. I did actually predict that game right. I did predict Tampa Bay. Philadelphia at Atlanta. Jalen Hurts, my guy. I like Jalen Hurts. He goes off. Miles Sanders not really did not eclipse the 100-yard rushing mark. And Devonta Smith coming out for his first NFL game and really kind of performing. I did miss out on that game. I predicted that Atlanta would win. They unfortunately only scored 6 points. So this might be the start of a struggling season for the Atlanta Falcons, especially with Philly putting up 32. Now, the game we were talking about, Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Pittsburgh did beat the Buffalo Bills 23-16. Josh Allen did go off for 270. Devin Singletary took the charge. I think Zach Moss is actually going through an injury, so he is currently out. So Devin Singletary rushed for 72 yards and Stephon Diggs for 69 receiving yards. But Pittsburgh pulled it out, and they're going to be playing at home this week, as we'll look. Minnesota at Cincinnati. I kind of was swaying towards Cincinnati, and then I believed in the Minnesota defense. But this ended up going to overtime, and as you guys can see, Cincinnati did pull this one out, 27-24 in OT. Kirk Cousins 351 yards. Joe Mixon rushed for 127, and Jamar Chase had 101 receiving yards. That connection from college into the NFL still exists. San Francisco, this game was a slacking, and basically a lot of Detroit stuff came in garbage time. I did predict this one correct. Jared Goff goes off for 338. Elijah Mitchell actually ran for 104 yards. If you predicted that happening, props to you. But, Raheem Mostert goes down with an injury. Elijah Mitchell is the one that steps up and does what it seems like every back in San Francisco does, and they take over the game, and he rushed for 104. Deebo Samuel, incredible, 189 receiving yards. But Brandon Ayuk was nowhere to be found. It was very interesting. Arizona at Tennessee. Arizona did win 38-13. I did predict that. Kyler Murray goes off for 289. Chase Edmonds 63 and D-Hop 83 with 2 touchdowns. Incredible showing from the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm really impressed with what the Cardinals got going down there in Arizona, and definitely going to continue to keep my eye on them. Seattle at Indianapolis. This was my upset game that failed miserably. Seattle won 28-16. Russ goes off. Tyler Lockett snaps one off, has 100 yards for 2 touchdowns. So definitely missed out on that one. Los Angeles at Washington. The Chargers do win 20-16. Herbert goes for 337. Antonio Gibson rushes for 90, and Keenan Allen with a even 100. Did get that one right. New York at Carolina. Carolina did squeak one out against the Jets. Sam Darnold throws for 279. Christian McCaffrey almost eclipses 100. And Corey Davis, who, honestly, I've been paying attention to. He was a very good receiver, in Tennessee. Now he's there as a connection with Zach Wilson, almost hitting 100 yards receiving. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on him as the season continues on. But Carolina did beat the Jets. Now, this one right here, I guess you can't really say it was an upset. Both these teams, I feel, are going to struggle throughout the year. But Tyrod Taylor showed out and, did what Tyrod Taylor does. Mark Ingram did some stuff, as you're going to see. But, it's just interesting to see the beatdown that was laid in this one. I think, especially for Urban Meyer making his NFL coaching debut and Trevor Lawrence making his debut. And so it's just really interesting. But Houston did beat them 37-21. Trevor Lawrence throws for 332. Ingram rushes for 85, and Brandon Cooks gets off for 132. The Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, this game was incredible. Like I stated in the open, 33-29. Patrick Mahomes, 337. Nick Chubb rushed for 83. Tyreek Hill almost hits 200 yards receiving. It was absolutely amazing. But that game was just a duel down to the very end. It was an incredible game. In my opinion, Miami upsets New England. I understand that Mac Jones is, rookie starting, but Miami comes out, wins 17-16. Mac Jones, 281. Damian Harris rushes for the New England Patriots for 100 yards, and Devontae Parker goes off for 81. Green Bay, now this was insane. Man, the Green Bay offense just did not look like they clicked. And Aaron Rodgers looked off, throws for 2 interceptions. It was just one of those games, and Jameis comes out and has something to prove. So comes out and absolutely balls out, and does everything you would want your new quarterback to do, and he did that. He throws only for 148 yards, but had 5 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara goes off for 83 rushing, really had an impact on this game, and Deontay Harris for 72 yards. So the New Orleans Saints did upset the Green Bay Packers. I did not predict that by any means. The next game really kind of was a wash. I did predict the Giants. Bridgewater, comes out and does Teddy Bridgewater things. Isn't overly aggressive. Stays in his game. They rushed Melvin Gordon for 101 yards. Daniel Jones throws for 267. One thing that impressed me was Sterling Shepard getting 113 receiving yards. But I did not predict this game correct, and Denver did win 27-13 against the Giants. The Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. This game was actually really good. Until the very end, I think, is where they finally started to separate themselves. But I like what they're doing in Chicago. I think personally, Justin Fields should be the starter. I just think that he comes in and rushes for a touchdown. You're kind of teasing the fans, but you're also teasing him. Not that Andy Dalton was absolutely terrible, but you drafted the kid for a reason. Let him go out there and play. But the Rams do start to thrash him towards the end. They win 34-14. Stafford goes off in his debut for the Rams, 321 yards. David Montgomery, an impressive 108 rushing yards. Cooper Kupp goes off for 108 yards. Look to see that connection continuing to happen through the rest of the year. And then the final game of the slate for week 1 was, man, I didn't know if it was ever going to end, and if it did, I thought it was going down to a tie. The Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens literally had that head-to-head duel, and just, it was incredible. Lamar Jackson running all over the field, can't seem to hold on to the football anymore. Derek Carr throwing bullets, bouncing it off people's helmets when all they had to do was rush it in from like the 4 or 5 yard line. But yeah, it was just an incredible game. It shows the importance of why you have kickers and doing what they do. I mean, Tucker obviously is lights out. Derek Carr throws for 435. Lamar Jackson rushes for 86. And Darren Waller goes off for 105. The Raiders would upset the Baltimore Ravens 33-27 in overtime. And like I said, it could have easily been a tie. I would not have predicted that, but that would have been insane. So I do believe, I wrote this down, I think my record was 7-9, if I am correct. So, unfortunately, starting out pretty rough. So we're going to jump to week 2, and I'm going to make my face disappear so the screen's a little bit bigger. That way, at least you guys can kind of see what the schedule is. So the first game up tonight is going to be Thursday. It's going to be starting 7:20. It's going to be in FedEx Field in Landover, Washington. It's going to be the Washington football team against the New York Giants. I am going to go ahead and predict the Washington football team wins this game. First home game for them, I believe. But I tell you what, Heineke is going to be the starter. I think they rally around him. Fitzmagic goes down with a pretty severe injury, hip injury. Sounds like he's out 4 to 6 weeks. But, man, that defense is just incredible. John Bostic, Chase Young. I mean, those guys are doing things there in Washington. It's going to be a good game. Saquon Barkley is questionable, so they're probably going to rely a lot on connections with guys like Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard again, Evan Ingram, maybe Kyle Rudolph a little bit. But I am going to go with the Washington football team just because it's in their house, and I think it's going to be a tough challenge for the Giants. I really like what the Giants have on defense. I just don't know if it's going to continue to translate over on the offensive side. Cincinnati at Chicago. I'm going to go ahead. This is tough for me. This is for sure tough. I'm going to go ahead and go with Cincinnati. I'm going to pick, even though it's in Soldier Field in Chicago, man, that's tough because I think you're going to see a lot of David Montgomery, Allen Robinson. But again, I think when you're rotating quarterbacks in, we saw Justin Fields come in, and then you got Andy Dalton still out there. Cincinnati has some pretty good connections with that young offense, like I stated last time. I'm going to go ahead and go with Cincinnati this time. I think that there's a chance they could beat the Bears there. Cleveland at Houston. After seeing it in person and being put on full display, Cleveland, no doubt, even with that being it's in Cleveland. It's their home opener. It's going to be, to me, this game could be a thrashing. I think Houston is not prepared to go into the dog pound. And I think the Cleveland Browns do beat the Houston Texans. The next game at noon is going to be the Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts. I did pick the Los Angeles Rams in this one. I just think the connection that Stafford has with his offense is just incredible. If the defense even plays 50%, I still think the way that this offense is starting to click, I think the Rams are going to be pretty serious, even though that's going to be in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I just think the Rams have something going there, and they're in that NFC West that is going to be very, very competitive this year for sure. The next game is Buffalo at Miami. I'm actually going to go with Buffalo in this one, even though it's in Miami in the Hard Rock Stadium. I think Buffalo has to get back on track. They have to, get back to 1-1, and they're going to have to definitely put on a display because, a lot of people have predicted them to go back to the playoffs and maybe even meet up with the Chiefs in the AFC Championship again. And I'm not saying that happens off of, them continuing to lose is going to happen because it's just one game. But you set the tone on the season with the first game and, taking a rough L in that first one. Hopefully they can turn it around, maybe come back and, start fresh with the Miami Dolphins. But I am going to go Buffalo. The next game, New England at New York Jets. I think, two rookie quarterbacks going head-to-head. I just think New England has the upper hand in this one. I think they have the better defense. And, not to say that this could not be a high-scoring game potentially. I just think that the New England Patriots have a little bit more, and you can't ever doubt Bill Belichick by no means. So I did go New England on this one. The next game is going to be Philly at San Francisco at Philadelphia. This is my upset game. I'm going to pick Philadelphia over San Francisco. Jimmy G is still the quarterback. Deebo Samuel obviously snaps off this last week. They have some major injuries at running back. So are they going to continue to do what they did? I think Philly has a pretty solid defense and veteran leadership. And if Jalen Hurts continue to be Jalen Hurts, then they're going to apply some pressure when it comes to scoring. And I think there's a chance Philly could beat them. So I'm going to do my upset, and that's going to be Philadelphia. The next game is going to be in Heinz Field at Pittsburgh. It's going to be Pittsburgh versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and pick Pittsburgh in this game. Ben really didn't have a huge game last week. They did beat the Buffalo Bills, like I stated before, but Ben only threw for like 188. He had a touchdown, I believe. I think this, and for the weapons he has in Juju and Washington and Claypool, and then Najee Harris as his new running back, the offensive line is kind of suspect, but I still think that Ben is going to show out. It's their home opener, and I'm going to go Pittsburgh on this one. New Orleans at Carolina. Man, I don't want to say it was a fluke because I think New Orleans has something going there. And I think Carolina isn't just quite ready to win. I do like what I saw out of Sam Darnold, and obviously they got C-Mac back. They really do have a good receiving group. And I like their defense, but I think New Orleans, if they can get on a roll, they got Kamara. I mean, let's be real, they have Kamara. If they can get on a roll and get up by a few and put some pressure on that Carolina football team, it might be tough for them to come back. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Saints win that game. The next game is going to be at Jacksonville, Denver in Jacksonville. I'm I'm definitely going to have to pick Denver in this game. I don't know if I'm going to pick Jacksonville at all this year, just because it's going to be tough. Urban Meyer needs to get it figured out. Not that Trevor Lawrence needs to get a whole lot figured out. He had a pretty good game, but it's tough. It's the NFL, and you got a veteran quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater coming in. They know exactly what they're going to be doing, and they're going to be able to apply some pressure on that defense. Von Miller looked like Von Miller. Chubb. They got Shelby Harris in the middle. The linebackers look pretty solid, and then they do have a decent secondary there. So, I could see Denver applying some pressure to the rookie quarterback. So I picked Denver in this game. The next game that is on the slate is Minnesota at Arizona. I think Arizona is just incredible. I think Arizona has just a high-powered offense. Nuke, and they have AJ Green catching some balls now. Christian Kirk going off. The list can go on and on. Their running backs and Chase Edmonds, and it's just incredible to see with James Conner, the pairing there. They're doing some special things, and that defense is not something to mess with. Chandler Jones goes off for 5 sacks, which is absolutely incredible. Just a performance from that Arizona football team in the first game against the Tennessee Titans, who a lot of people expect to make the playoffs on the AFC side. The next game is going to be Atlanta at Tampa Bay in Raymond James Stadium. Again, I think Tampa Bay can manhandle the Falcons just with that defense, give Tom Brady the ability to throw the football. Man, I think Tampa Bay wins, and I think they win pretty easily in that game. Dallas at Los Angeles. I want to pick the Chargers just because I think, it's going to be at SoFi Stadium, and it's a way to get the fans back. But, man, the way Dallas played against Tampa, we're seeing Dak kind of rekindle those connections with Amari Cooper, some of his tight ends. Hopefully Zeke can get, running the football again. Another one of my upset picks this week was Dallas over the Chargers. Tennessee at Seattle. I did pick Tennessee in this game. I think that, again, another team that needs to get back on the snide if they want to be considered, real. That offense is incredible. Derrick Henry did not rush very well. Ryan Tannehill did not look the best, but he was also getting beat down by Chandler Jones. It seemed like every play. They're going into one of the toughest fields in Lumen Field in Seattle. I think it's going to be tough, but I think Tennessee has to win, and that's just my thoughts, and that's why I'm picking them this week. I definitely can see Russ going off with DK and Tyler Lockett, but I'm kind of wondering if that defense for Seattle can hold up. Kansas City at Baltimore. Baltimore is having a lot of injuries going on. There's a lot of question marks on the offense. Ronnie Staley's going to be out. They're promoting their running backs, but there's a lot of question marks on that. And Kansas City is coming off a very good football game, and I think they're ready for this one. They seem to have Baltimore's number when it matters. This is Sunday Night Football, and I have to pick my Kansas City Chiefs for sure. So KC over Baltimore. And then the Monday night game is Detroit at Green Bay. Hopefully Green Bay could figure it out and get back on the snide too. Green Bay needs to figure it out. Aaron Rodgers had a very rough offseason. We really didn't know what was going to happen. It showed that, maybe the connections weren't there. There's a lot of question marks, honestly, in my opinion, in that with that first game and really that first display. So I did pick Green Bay in this one. I think Detroit just has a lot to overcome. And I just think that they're not ready quite yet. So I did pick Green Bay. And I'm going to kind of recap, go back over. I picked Washington, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Los Angeles Rams, the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New Orleans Saints, Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. I really do enjoy doing this. I think it's a lot of fun, even though I didn't pick correctly the first week. That's just kind of like how it goes. And I'm just having so much fun doing this. It's a way to really kind of be engaged in football, and I love football. So we're going to continue to do this each week. I appreciate you guys checking out the Beat of KC, and as always, have a good day.